Hey everyone, I'm Dhivenya and welcome back to my channel. So I'm a final year mechanical engineering student in France, and as a student I've had to go through multiple interviews for my internships as well as the application process. So throughout my time as a student, I managed to land 3 internships, 2 of them being with L'Oréal. And so in this video, I'm going to be sharing how I prepare for my interviews. Let's go. So you're going to want to prep in 3 different categories: the company, the job, and the interviewer. And based on that research, you're going to then tailor your answers accordingly to best suit the job description as well as the company. So let's start with part 1, researching the company. So the first thing you're going to want to look at is the company's mission. What is it that makes them want to get out of bed and go to work? What is it that they strive for? You're also going to want to look at the culture. What are the values at the company that resemble yours? And this is where you also see if you might be a good fit for the company. Next up, awards. What have they won prizes for? What are they known for? Are they proud of their diversity? Have they won awards for being a great place to work at, employee satisfaction? Whatever it is, you want to note this down because this is what they are proud of. So it is good to be able to bring that point up sometime in between your interview. And the next big point that you want to research on is their corporate social responsibility. What are the causes that they support? Could it be education? Could it be poverty? Could it be providing jobs for people? If it resonates with the causes that you are passionate about, then that's already a good sign. Part 2 is researching the job. Now, in order to match your answers and your profile to the job, you first need to have a good understanding of what the job entails and what is expected of you. So this can be done by looking at the career blogs of the company, or try googling people who have posted about their experience throughout the application process. Just by doing this alone, you already sort of know what to expect from the interview, and you can also get an idea of what is expected of you. Now, my favorite way to research the job is by going onto LinkedIn and looking at people who work in that company in that particular role, because that way you sort of have an idea on the missions that they do, the projects that they are in charge of. And you can also take it a step further by sending them a message to connect with them on LinkedIn. So for example, if I stumble across someone who's working in that particular job that I'm applying for, then I usually send them a personal invite that looks something like this. Hi, I'm Dhivenya and I came across your profile while preparing for my interview to be an intern at your company, and I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about your role at the company. And if you're lucky and they reply, then that's great, because what better way to understand what the job entails than by asking those who are already working in that role in that company. Part number 3 is researching the interviewer. Now, as important as it is to research the company and the job, it is equally important to know who is in front of you. An interview is a two-way exchange between 2 human beings. You're not in front of a robot, you're in front of someone who has their own experience, their own story to share, their own history, and their way of seeing things. One of my favorite tips is to find the person on LinkedIn and send them a personal invite that goes something like this. Hi there, I'm Dhivenya and we have an interview together on Monday at 3 p.m. I'm looking forward to our exchange and it would be a pleasure to connect with you. Something as simple as that would suffice. And by doing so, A, the interviewer will get to know who you are beforehand, and on the other hand, you get to find out more about who the person is, what's his or her background, how long have they been at the company, what was their education path, their career path, and also if you guys have anything in common. And by going through the person's profile, you also get to better personalize your questions for the end of the interview. Now, if preparing questions for the end is not something that you are already doing, I strongly recommend that you do this because it is such a small effort, yet it leaves such a good impression because it shows that you are very interested in the job. It shows that you are curious, that you took the initiative to find out more and to ask the right question. And so if you bring the subject back to studying your interviewer by looking at his profile, you already get to pinpoint like certain questions that you can ask him or her at the end of the interview. Once you've completed your research, it's time to prep for the common interview questions. The idea here is to tailor your answers to suit the job and the company. You're going to want to link your strengths and your experiences to the company's values and what the job requires. All this to show that you are the person for the job. So let's discuss the 3 common questions that always come out during an interview. The first one is describe yourself. Now this question is your chance to pitch yourself. So you're gonna want to leave a good strong impression and probably add a sentence or 2 that sort of makes you unique. Question number 2 is describe your education pathway, your choices, your degree, what does it consist of, what do you learn at university. So besides stating the obvious facts, you're going to want to pick the elements that best match your capabilities to the job. For example, you might be taking 10 different modules at university, but you don't have to mention all 10 of them. Pick 3 to 4 modules that are pertinent to what the job is looking for. For example, if you're applying for a role as a project manager in a food company, there's no point talking about the fact that you did thermodynamics or like fluid mechanics. You get my point. And the third question that's pretty common is to state your strong points and your weak points. Now you can play this question to your advantage. So what I normally do is I prepare 3 strong points and 2 weak points, and 2 out of 3 strong points, I try to link it to the job once again. And then I leave the other 1 strong point to my own personal taste. Now, you obviously don't have to do it this way. This is just how I do it, and this is my opinion on answering the question. Now, the reason why I carefully select which points I want to highlight is because, once again, I'm trying to show the interviewer that I am the person for the job. So when you read the job description, try to identify the characteristics that they're looking for. And then what you want to do is you're going to link each strong point to an experience that you have already had. For example, if you say that you are someone who has leadership qualities, pair that up with an example that you have already had, which is able to really put the spotlight on the fact that you showed those qualities in that moment of time. As for the weak points, you don't want to look at it as your defaults, but it's more of like the points on which you can improve on. Now, in this situation, being honest is great, but not sabotaging yourself is even better. So you want to be smart when answering this question. What I mean by this is you want to give strategic weak points. So for example, what I say is, I sometimes lack in confidence when it comes to certain tasks, and that is probably because I do not have enough experience in that role, but I am sure that with enough guidance and with enough time, I will be able to improve in my decision-making process. You see where I'm going with this? Now, I'm not asking you to lie. Like, do not say that I do not have any weak points, because first of all, no one is perfect. Second of all, that shows that you are not able to look at yourself and know the areas in which you can improve in, and that's not a good thing. We all have things to work on. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. So don't be afraid to sit down and really look at yourself and write down what your strong and weak points are. Sometimes what I do is before the interview, the night before the interview, I practice those answers to myself. I say it out aloud. Or sometimes I look at myself in the mirror and I repeat my answers, because having it in your head is not at all the same as saying out aloud. There are many things that affect the delivery of your answer. The content, your body language, your facial expression. So I feel like by practicing out aloud again and again, when that question is finally asked during the interview, the answer sort of comes out really naturally, even if you have already practiced it like 10 times before. So we have reached the end of the video. I hope that you have found it helpful. If you did, please do give it a like and do subscribe to my YouTube channel, because that would mean a lot to me. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to put them down in my comment sections and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. So thank you once again and see you in my next video. Ciao!